Welcome to SolidCAD's review of our product data management platform called Upchain. I'm Tyler P., the industry account executive for Autodesk Platinum partner SolidCAD. It's my responsibility to help companies through the evaluation of SolidCAD's PLM and PDM products and services. Here's the agenda for today's presentation. We'll be focusing on how we've helped companies manage their data through Autodesk's Upchain platform, the industry challenges around digital transformation, as well as the issues that we have around multi-CAD environments, bill of materials, change management, and supplier collaboration. As we go through the presentation, please feel free to ask any questions that you have, as we want to make this as interactive as possible. Please note that this presentation will be recorded for those who could not attend today. Also on the call, we have from SolidCAD, Kyle Daw and Josh Solis, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, thanks Tyler. Really happy to be here today. As Tyler mentioned, we're really going to focus obviously on Autodesk's Upchain solution. I've had the pleasure of working in the Autodesk channel for 10 years, focused on manufacturing PDM solutions. I'm now look forward to working with Upchain as a primary solution for customers. I'm really happy for today, and again, looking forward to a really interactive session. Hopefully we have some questions and can have some great conversation. Josh?
Hi all, I'm Joshua Solis. I'm the PDM PLM application specialist for SolidCAD. I have about 7 years of experience in the manufacturing industry as a mechanical engineer, and I look forward to presenting Upchain to you all. Thank you.
Great, thanks Josh. So we don't want to inundate with you with a lot of slides here, but just talk a little bit about who SolidCAD is as an Autodesk partner. We'll go through some of the challenges we see in the industry and show you some of the functionality with the Upchain platform. SolidCAD is one of the more mature companies in the market, being one of the leading services companies in North America, providing a high level of support, customer services, and technology. We are a strategic platinum partner, which is the highest Autodesk partner level. Last year, we were the top service delivery partner worldwide and the top technical collaboration partner in North America. Our culture is based on partnering with our clients and customers in order to implement technology to optimize their workflows. Not only the software, SolidCAD has an extensive team to consult, teach, and implement Autodesk solutions. We also have a dedicated team to do custom programming, configurations, or possible integrations into your ERP, MRP, or CRM platforms, or any other applications you have that you're internally running. So now I'll pass this over to Kyle, who will talk a little bit about what we're showing today.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. So yeah, I wanted to take a minute just to kind of introduce at a high level Upchain as a solution. So the nice thing about Upchain is it's fully cloud-based, both a PDM and a PLM solution with direct in-canvas 3D integration, all in one solution. So Autodesk likes to use three-letter acronyms, so let me define a little bit what I mean by PDM and PLM. So PDM being the data management solution around the product, whereas PLM is the life cycle. So expanding across typically what would be the design and engineering team across the company, connecting data, people, processes, and this really Upchain acts as the central repository, the backbone, the foundation for all people in the workflow, whether that's upstream or downstream from engineering, allows for very easy visibility and tracking and reporting for products as well as projects. And again, just to double down a little bit to well define out in everyone's mind the difference between PDM, product data management, as well as PLM. So PDM typically used in the engineering world, design world, where they're product related information. So whether that's tracking versions, managing change, creating bills of material. Typically that's done within what Autodesk calls their PDM, traditionally Vault, and now they're added Upchain to it. Those familiar with PLM, again, centralized repository, pushing and pulling critical data to connect people and processes outside of your traditional engineering. Another great thing about Upchain, it's a true, as I mentioned before, a true cloud-based solution or a software as a service platform. So everything that Josh is going to show when we get into the actual user interface from Upchain is out of the box. So it really reduces that time to benefit and that time to value for customers. Has a lower, obviously, IT infrastructure requirement. Those companies that are on a growth trajectory, that are looking for a scalable, integratable solution with open REST API, Upchain is a very integratable and scalable solution. We talk about data security as well. Upchain provides industry-leading data security, so all your information is secure, and also things around disaster relief. There needs to be plans in place for that, as we see, unfortunately, throughout the world. So knowing that Upchain has that in place and is available to you with the solution is another added benefit for Upchain customers. Just wanted to take a minute to kind of see, sometimes when we're working with customers at the beginning of a evaluation process, we see something similar to that, what's on the screen there. It may not be identical to your specific workflows or processes. Just wanted to highlight, what we typically see is, procurement isn't necessarily has an easy communication flow, let's say, to manufacturing or to the suppliers or the service group. There's maybe some non-value added repetitive tasks. There's a lot of Word, email, Excel documents that are getting exchanged, and things are siloed, and there sometimes is fairly cumbersome to find the right information at the right time to understand where things are along the process. So what we'd like to talk about, and what we see with successful customers around the implementation of Upchain, is a more integrated and holistic environment where you're still using your existing CAD tools as well as your ERP solutions, and Upchain acts as a complementary tool. So we see that, in the design world, design and engineering, that CAD is still available. So we talk about in-canvas 3D integration, whether you're using Inventor, SolidWorks, PTC, it fully integrates and has add-ins, and Josh is going to show that in a little bit. Still have your ERP system, which we typically see is using for accounting, financial, transactional types of business. So that's still there. And in the center, acting as a single source of truth, connecting all data, would be Upchain. Being able to push and pull the metadata required, and being able to allow easy access anywhere for any person within the workflow. Tyler, I'm going to send it off to you before we get showing a bit of a demo.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. And one thing I'll note is that a lot of companies, we work in the manufacturing sector, and specifically discrete manufacturing. Within these the factories and facilities, there's a lot of heat and possible reasons that a company could fail or have a disaster. In the past, we've had some of our customers go through that, and they don't see, a lot of the customers don't see the benefit of having a SaaS platform and using that as a possible disaster recovery strategy. So it's just something that you can consider as well.
That's great.
As we spent time speaking with customers, we noticed that there's a lot of common industry challenges that our clients have. The number one common goal is to be more productive, of course. So let's identify what productivity means. Faster time to market, and this means help with new product introduction. Lower costs, of course, are very important. Reducing mistakes so that there's no rework of designs, which help reduce waste and improve quality. Getting rid of all the barriers around your workflow. And this all comes back to traceability. How do you track and trace the product? What changes are made, and what your customer requirements might be. One area that we want to discuss is around 3D CAD and document management. We'll go through a couple of challenges, and Josh will show you the product. Many companies have identified that there is a need for a centralized platform, giving access to everyone, access to everything, and anywhere. So like Joe in engineering might say, I can find any model or drawing based on his unique way of indexing his design data. But that would be great, but Joe's on vacation. Or you're looking for Bob's Designs who retired last year. And if you can find documentation or design companies that companies have produced before, this takes a lot of time to redesign them if you can't find those drawings. There is a need for companies and departments to have a centralized platform for project collaboration. Document management challenges can occur when there's changes to a bill of materials or which is in a manual process. And we find that a lot with some of our customers. So Upchain provides a single source of solution that supports the import and export of data and information into any application. So now Josh will show the functionality of Upchain related to this area of functionality.
Thanks, Tyler. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, Josh.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So before, I'd like to kick off the demo by providing a brief high-level overview of Upchain. So what you see here is the homepage. And before I begin, sorry, if you have any questions about Upchain SI demo, please feel free to ask or drop the questions in the chat and we'll address it. So this is your homepage in Upchain, and you'll see there are these projects under the Projects tab. And that's a project in Upchain is a container for you to manage your engineering data, such as documents, 3D models, and BOM structures. So I'm going to open one of the projects here called SolidBox Electrical Cabinet. And so when you open a project, you'll be greeted with the project dashboard. The dashboard provides you a high-level view of project completion, showing assignments that are in progress, overdue assignments, and critical assignments. When I expand the menu bar on the left, you'll see what the project contains. And so the first one you'll see is the Bill of Materials tab. And this tab is where you would manage items that are attached to the project. So I'm going to minimize that. And so things like a mechanical assembly can be attached here, and you can see there's preview, and this assembly was extracted from my SolidWorks model. I'll show that later on. You can attach a electrical assembly that comes from your native electrical ECAD software, and of course you can just generate items through the web app by simply just clicking create and add item. And these items can be things that are non-CAD or non-ECAD files, such as like labels or manuals. So other things in the project dashboard, there's also the project management. And this allows you to manage timeline, assignment, and task in, once it loads, it'll be in the form of a Gantt chart. And so And here you can utilize the built-in project management tool as a way to manage your project and share this with other project stakeholders outside of the engineering department. You'll be able to see tasks and stages that are in project. And I don't want to get too carried away explaining all of the features in the project management tool, but it is good to be aware of this feature in Upchain. And so the next tab would be the business process tab. And basically this tab will display all workflows initiated, in progress, completed, and canceled in the project. And in this webinar, we'll be showcasing mostly the change request and investigation request. Change request is the business process that executes an enhancement or fix to the product, changing the set of affected items to be either released, obsoleted, or revised. The investigation request in Upchain is a business process that describes a problem with the product. And this part of the workflow in the project is accessible to most users in Upchain. So if a non-CAD user wants to flag an issue with one of the items, they'll be able to quickly utilize the built-in CAD tools inside Upchain to mark up and generate an investigation request, like you see here, this power supply. And so there's another tab. There's the Documents tab. Documents tab is a simple storage for your project documents. And we'll get more into that later. And then the last tab would be your project settings. And this is where you can invite members inside your tenant to participate in the project. You can do it by individual users, or you can do it by teams as you configure it in Upchain, or you can do it, you can also include suppliers. And we'll get more into that later in the Supplier Collab demo. So let's go to the BOM management. Oh, sorry, is there any questions? No. All right, the BOM management tool in Upchain. So there's this assembly you saw that called the solid box, and this is a SolidWorks assembly that I've extracted from the SolidWorks model software. So I'm going to go to my SolidWorks program, and you can see this is the model, and over here on the right, you can see this is the Upchain plugin that's inside SolidWorks. And what the plugin can do is, first of all, it allows you to access all the projects in your tenant. So currently I'm set to the electrical cabinet that you saw earlier in the web app. All the files are in cloud. So how this works is once you upload it into the cloud, you can access the files again by simply going to the going to the Upchain plugin through your SolidWorks, and you would just right-click on this assembly, and you would just click open. But right now it's open, so the menu, the option is not there. You can also notice that when I click on an item, that there's a one-to-one connection between the SolidWorks design tree and the Upchain interface. So you can see here the items selected, so you can easily track, like in a large assembly, where you're at. You can also view metadata that was created in Upchain web app. So when I selected this item, you can see there's this panel below, and it shows the data that was put into Upchain. You can also see documents that are attached to that item, and other data from the Upchain, such as assignments that were allocated for the item. And speaking of viewing like the assignments, you could also participate in workflows in Upchain by seeing the assignments tab over here. And so if there is a part that was to be changed and it was generated in Upchain, you can complete the task over here and then basically flag the person in Upchain saying you completed the workflow over there, or you can reject the workflow. And so that's all for that show for the CAD tool. Going back to the web app, other things in the BOM tool in Upchain is the ability to view translation files. So once you transferred your SolidWorks model into Upchain, it generates it into an item. So as you can see, this entire assembly is an item. And here there's a 3D model attached. So if I click on that, it will open an interface. Sorry. And that interface will show the entire 3D model that's viewable through my web app. There was no installation of software required or plugins on your browser. This is straight from the just clicking the link. And you can see that's exactly the same model that you saw in SolidWorks. And people had the ability to use tools to expand or look around. They can even create markups onto this model in case they'd like to start an investigation request or be able to point out to the engineering teams some issues or some design ideas. So that's available. And that's applicable to basically all the models or the items inside here. You can also view drawings through Upchain. So if I double click this icon, it will show me the native CAD drawing through the Upchain's 3D model viewer. So in this case, you can see there's my drawing of the electrical box with the bill of materials. And this too has the ability to be marked up. So in this one, I've already configured markups. So basically markups can be saved and stored and viewed by everyone else. So you can see my name, the date created. So if I click show, it will display all the things that I can create, like text, links, images can be attached. So this is a good way for non-CAD users to pitch in and collaborate with design for the mechanical side. So engineering and non-CAD users can use Upchain together and collaborate on changes or other things. There's other things that you can see in an item. So you can see there's a lot of tabs shown in the for this item in particular. You can edit the metadata. So an item contains metadata, and by clicking this pencil, you can see that there are these fields that you can fill out. The most notable one to me is custom attributes. Now, that doesn't sound like out of the box, it actually is. But what you would do is you just go to the admin settings and you would simply create a name for the field, and you can select what type of field you like. So in this case, I have design stage as a custom attribute, and I have a drop-down list that I can select to show what my design stage is. So currently it's in testing, maybe it's in development. And there's even a way to create a hyperlink. So in this example, I have a Google Drive link and this URL attached to it. So when I click save and scroll back down, it's a hyperlink for me to access directly to the web page. And there are a lot of people who use Google Drive as their way of storing documents, and usually other departments other than engineering can't use the Upchainers, can't just simply transfer their files there. So one solution we came up with, you can just create a hyperlink and it's easily accessible to that item. And I want to jump quickly to documents because I'm running short on time. So in Documents tab, you're able to, like I said, store all your sorts of documents from PDF to Word to Excel. One notable feature about Upchain is that they have a built-in plugin for Microsoft Office. So in my Microsoft Word, you can see that there's this Upchain plugin on my right, and I can easily access the documents that I've stored in the Documents tab. So if I click on the manufacturer, sorry, that's an Excel file. If I click on this item and click download, it will automatically open the file inside Upchain, and I can check it out, check it in. I can view different versions of this. So currently this is version 2, and so I can view version 1. And so part of Upchain is that you can constantly update the document, but it's also tracked, so you can see where the changes go. And that's what I'd like to show for the Upchain plugin. It's very useful if you don't want to exit from your Word application. And similarly to items in Upchain in the BOM tab, these documents can also undergo workflows. So workflows basically allow you to manage the document and put them into draft, in review, or published. You can see in my mouse is hovering to the statuses of these documents. And this basically allows you to control documents and what can be seen from non-CAD users. So typically published can be seen for people in the project that are not involved in the very high level.
Great, Josh.
And,
So,
yeah.
Josh, I have a question. I know you showed how SolidWorks works with Upchain. What other common CAD packages does Upchain easily integrate into?
That's a good question, Tyler. Actually, so if you go into this icon over here, and you can see there's a plugins link, right? And I've already had that open, I believe. The plugins page takes you well, to the plugins, and you can see there's this CAD connector, and the supported CAD softwares are SolidWorks, CATIA, NX, Inventor, AutoCAD, and PTC Creo. So you would simply just download it and install the software, and it would basically find where your CAD softwares are. And then once that's complete, all you have to do is open your CAD software, and the plugin will appear wherever your toolbar is.
Great. Another question that came in, it's a lot of our customers find the where used feature in Upchain very beneficial.
Right.
You just for the benefits of that?
Yeah. So if you go back into the bill of materials and you go to an item, like I said earlier, like there are a lot of information that gets stored from Upchain by Upchain in an item. So one of them is the where used tab, which allows you to see where the item appears in another CAD BOM or in another project. So in this case, there's only one instance in which this assembly existed, and it's in itself. And then there's also one instance in which it exists in a project, which is the solid box standard design. And there are other features in the where used, such as genealogy, which is tracks the development of the item, as well as if this item was a clone, it would display that this item was cloned from another item. So that's very useful.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all I have to show for the 3D and document management for Upchain.
Awesome, Josh. Thanks. I'm going to take back control, if I may.
Yep.
All right. So thanks, Josh. That was great. Just again, reminder to anybody, if you do have any questions, there is that Q&A box that you can gladly type in, and we'll go to it. Try to make it it's interactive, and any questions you specifically have, love to answer them today. So thanks again, Josh. Wanted to move on to the another challenge that we typically see with customers looking to around their products, improve quality, reliability. Everything comes back to kind of change management. So I'm going to dive a little deeper into what Upchain can do and some of the challenges that we see with customers around change management. You may also call it engineering change, change orders, lots of different ways that people describe it. But what we see a lot of times is there's really no standardized, formalized process in place. What one works for one individual may not be the exact same thing that happens for another individual or department. So just want to see about digitizing that, getting it standardized, also being able to understand the impact of that change, being able to analyze that, who did the change, why the change was made, and making sure that the approvals follow the standardized processes that are in place, as well as the data that goes along with that is easily found, and there's no non-value add, processes to that change. So Josh is going to dive into Upchain to show a little bit around change management and how it can help not only around the engineering design department, but everyone else involved in the workflow. So Josh, I'm going to let you have the screen back.
Thank you. I'll take the screen. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, good. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So starting in the BOM section, so when you want to initiate a change request, you can easily do so from the BOM by simply clicking on the item, and you can create a change request. right there. First of all, a change request, what it does is I'm going to open different tabs. A change request allows you to push items from development to release. So right now, the main assembly is in development, and as well as the panel and all the rest of the components are in released right now. It also allows you to affect either the major or minor revision. Where my mouse is hovering, there are these two columns, major and minor. So if the changes are a large portion of the design, you probably want to put major. But if it's a simple like annotation fix on your drawing, it's useful to increment by minor revision, so it doesn't affect the non-CAD users who are looking to your model and seeing too many different versions, and all that changes between them are minor annotations. And another thing that gets changed in the change request is the item maturity field, which allows you to select what stage your product is currently in. Useful for a lot of companies that need to track their parts and their different stage designs. And so to start a change request, I would go to the item, I would send to a change request. And what happens is when I send a parent item that's an assembly into change request, all the other items that are currently in development are also undergoing the change request. Any items that are released inside the assembly are simply just left alone. And so in this page that just appeared, this is the change request page, and it's basically a report or a record that's been generated with its own CR number, as you can see over here, and it's now accessible in the business process tab of the project that I've shown earlier in the demo or in the webinar. So the key features of the change request in Upchain is one is the selectable workflow. So on the right here, where I have my mouse hovered at, I can select different workflows. So currently there's only 3 out-of-the-box workflows, and there's one that I've added. So the out-of-the-box workflow is a simple workflow that allows you to push items from development to release, but you can modify that in the admin section to be more complicated. So that's one key feature for Upchain is the different workflows. It allows you to basically have different workflows, such as like if there's electrical items to be released that only electrical engineers should release, or if, for example, if you have mechanical items that only mechanical engineers should be part of the workflow. So I'm going to hit save. And this allows me to basically edit the change request, and I can determine whether the release type is major or minor. I can even write notes to why the revision occurred. So design change. And then you can even add or move items into the change request. That's another thing. So other things in the change request is the document storage. Similar to the project, a change request record can contain documents, and this can be used to store critical communications that relate to the change. And so if there's a document that requested the item to be changed drastically, that's where you can store it for people to keep track of. Another thing Upchain has is relationships. So earlier I mentioned there's investigation requests, which allows you to sort of point at an item, and a non-CAD user can basically create markups and inform what the change or what the problem with the product is. And if that investigation request leads to a change request, which basically means that, oh, the problem is real and we need to fix it, and so now you can link that change or that investigation request here. So there's one change request I have open there, so I'll just add it here for sake of example. So now that investigation request that was involved with the change request is now linked, and so you have traceability as to why the change occurred. So documents and investigation requests are ways to trace your changes on the item. And finally, one last key feature is the workflow actions. And this last feature I'm showing you is basically what Upchain does is it tracks all the actions that occur in a workflow. It'll tell you dates, name, and the person involved and what the action was. So that's another thing about the change request in Upchain is a lot of traceability. So who performed it, what actions did they take, and so forth. And that's what I have to showcase for change management in Upchain.
Cool, Josh. I have a question. So someone not in engineering, maybe someone out in the field or on the road in the sales role, or what have you, how would they interact with the Upchain tool if there's a change that's pertinent to them in their workflow?
That's a good question, Kyle. So in the workflow, you have the ability to toggle whether an email should be sent automatically to the person receiving the task. And once you do that, you'll be able to basically, once you've initiated the workflow, an email will automatically be sent to the user that, hey, there's this change request, and here's the actions that are required on your end to proceed the workflow.
Great. There was another question that came in through the Q&A from Boris, and it was not necessarily too much around change management, but I did want to address it. I typed out an answer, Boris, but maybe we can speak to it a bit, Josh, around is Upchain replacing all the Vault Pro functionality? So I mentioned that it is not replacing Vault Pro. We can speak to it a little bit more, but it's a complementary solution and an alternative product for PDM. Upchain is that way, not replacing anything with Vault Pro by any means. So for us, I don't know if that makes sense. I can unmute you if you'd like, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Boris.
Okay, and this is the email that I received once I initiated the workflow. So this just came in just now, and yes.
Awesome, Josh. Great. Thanks so much. I'm going to steal back the screen. And pass it over to you, Tyler, to let you talk a little bit about.
So, you know, a lot of customers and people that are looking at product data management, they don't think about supplier collaboration. And as Kyle mentioned, Josh was saying there's email notifications for some of your colleagues or field staff, and they would get notifications through that format. But also a supplier might get notifications as well. And just remember, all the permissions are user-defined permissions. So some users might have security levels or access to different files as opposed to you know, another person in your supplier network. So listed here just some of the challenges around communicating with partners, vendors, and suppliers. Upchain provides a platform for our customers to easily and proactively communicate with all their resources in the partner ecosystem. The benefits of Upchain are extensive around supplier collaboration. Not only does Upchain provide a platform to increase revenues, but also to lower costs by providing a more efficient ordering process. Now, Josh is going to show the functionality around these three common challenges.
Thank you, Tyler. I'm going to share my screen again. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. So going back again to the bill of materials page, I created a view to see which items are currently that have a supplier. So on the bottom, you can see there are these tabs that toggle which information can be shown in my item. So this is my supplier view, and it shows the supplier, manufacturer, and cost, things that are essential to know about supplier. So I can see there's this one item here, the green button. So if I click on that one, earlier I said there are a lot of information that you can store in an item. So one of that information is the supplier information. Suppliers actually, because I have multiple suppliers in this item. And so the supplier tab allows you to manage multiple suppliers. In the drop down, or sorry, if you select the add supplier here, there is a drop down list for suppliers, and basically it lists all the suppliers that are created in your tenant. And so you can select them and add them into here. And once you've added them here, you can add information about that supplier and the items that's associated. So if I click on the pencil button here, I can actually see that I can modify the fields, the supplier part number, item status, the costs, and even notes. Other information you can add about the supplier, documents, for example, can be added to in regards to the supplier and the item. And if I expand it, there's a quote sheet that they can that you can attach to the supplier and information. So there's another supplier here, and I'm going to click it, and you notice it's empty. It's not because I didn't fill it. So if I click on edit details, you can't actually modify these fields. And the reason why is because some suppliers, you can set them so that only the supplier can interact with their with the information of the part. And so how do you do that? Well, in Upchain, you send this item into an investigation request. So I'm going to click on that item. I'm going to create and click on investigation requests. And here, you can select a workflow, and these are all out-of-the-box workflows except for the ones labeled SolidCAD. And one of the workflows that are out of the box is the supplier workflow. And the supplier workflow, you can assign your supplier, and what happens is it initiates a workflow, and an email gets automatically sent to the supplier that links them into the supplier portal. And so I'm going to quickly skip that because I've got one prepared. I'm going to go to my email that I used as to pretend to be a supplier. And this is what the email would look like if the supplier received one from Upchain. And it basically has the summary of what's going on, the item in question, notes that you've added. So in this case, I just asked for pricing, quantity, details of button. And so when they click on open, they would log in, and after they log in, they would be in the supplier portal interface. And in here, they'll be able to view the item that was sent for change request. They're able to even download a step file of this part. So the main function of the supplier portal is they would basically add their information into the supplier of the item supplier information. So when I hit edit, I can see that they can add their supplier part number, their costs, currency, units of measurements, and notes. But on top of that, they can also add their own documents here. And that would simply upload into the, sorry, it's going to show all my files. But that basically they were able to add files into here, and it would upload it and will show in the where you saw the storage for documents for suppliers. So that's possible too. So if they have code sheets or spec sheets to add about the part, they can do so. And finally, another thing in the Supplier Collaboration portal is that they're able to participate in workflows. So in this case, there's a workflow that they're currently in, which is the provide pricing, which is the one I created. And if I click on that, they're able to either complete the quote. And what this will do is, and out of the box basically, is that it would close the investigation request and send an email to, sorry, it wouldn't close the investigation request. It would simply send an email to the person who originally created the request, and they would have to review and then finalize and either approve or reject the quote from the supplier. And I believe that's all I have to say for the Supplier Collaboration for Upchain.
Thanks, Josh. And just to note for the people attending, we're providing a high-level, out-of-the-box demonstration of this solution here. There's a lot more features, functionality that is available, but in terms of the respect for time, we can only show you a certain amount. If you do have any questions or have any, if you want to know more about the functionality and what the product does, then we can certainly do that. One question that we get commonly, Josh, is can suppliers view a specific item in the BOM structure?
Yeah, so that's all a matter of setting up your security. I showed earlier, if you if you go to the project settings, you can add suppliers as well, and you can basically control what they see in the project. So they would have access to your BOM view, but they would be able to see certain items.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Got a question coming in here. What is the typical implementation time? What is the BOM comparison feature? Tyler, do you, or Josh, you got your screen up there. Did you want to maybe walk through again that BOM comparison feature?
Sure. BOM comparison feature is available in Upchain. So you saw earlier during change requests that in a change request, you're able to basically trace all, all the change requests are traceable. So you can see I have a bunch of canceled one and approved one. So I'm just going to randomly open one and you can see the BOM compare feature. And what it basically allows you to do is see what changed between the items. So sorry, I'm going to find one that actually has the entire assembly. I believe the more recent ones had larger changes. Or sorry, later ones. So this is a change request that's been completed. And if I go to compare revisions, I can see like what's changed between the two, the assembly from before and after. And it would show an exclamation of, so for example, this one revision was changed from 0 to 1. It's fairly simple. I think this was a simple change, but you'll be able to see what's been added, what's been removed. If you see the top portion of this change request, you can see there's this giant graph. So right now it's showing all items, but it shows that nothing's been removed or added, but one item's been changed, and that's presumably the item over here, the main assembly. So there's a compare revisions in Upchain.
Great. Awesome.
Regarding the implementation, I think, it's different for every company. And of course, it depends on how complex or how large a company is in terms of how long the implementation would take. Usually, we would look at a phased approach, what your priority is, if it's supplier collaboration, new product introduction, or quality management, to kind of prioritize those phases and then have a plan to implement the product. Typically, and every company is different, but I would say from 3 to 6 months would be a typical implementation timeframe. But you can have this implemented very quickly, depending on your circumstances. Could be shorter than that, but not too much longer than 6 months, I would think.
Yeah, awesome. I'll just add to it is I know we've helped some customers with, to your point, Tyler, those quick start, really identifying the phase 1 and having that quick start implementation to get everybody up and running, within a matter of business days, opposed to, long drawn out. And then, as you mentioned, that phased in approach is really where we see a lot of success. So great questions. Certainly encourage more. Josh, I'm going to take back the screen if you may. I just have one kind of summary slide deck that I'd like to share with everybody so that maybe it will provide some thoughts. So everyone can see that.
Yep.
Excellent. So just wanted to kind of reevaluate or set the table again, and this is kind of something I refer to as a table slide, around what we talked to today and what we typically see customers, where they're looking to improve, profitability and increase efficiencies. Document management and CAD integration is critical. Improving quality. Talked a little bit about product reliability and how change management and some of the quality management solutions within Upchain can certainly help drive that, as well as increase manufacturing throughput. And in today's crazy world with supply chain, being able to collaborate and manage your suppliers and everyone along that process more effectively, ensuring that everybody has the right information at the right time. Upchain works as that center source of truth and has that open REST API that allows you to integrate into your document management, ERP solutions, any other business solution that you may require. So at this point, just want to open up with the last couple of minutes to see if there's any other questions anyone may have before we wrap up. Seems to be pretty quiet out there.
One question we get a lot from customers is where the data resides on the SaaS platform. Upchain is a purely SaaS platform. It's not on-premise, or it's not a hosted solution either. The data resides with AWS, Amazon Web Services, and a dedicated data center.
Awesome. Yeah, that's important. I know that's a question a lot of people come up with clouds. That's great to point out, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any other questions coming in at all.
I think we have another question here, Kyle.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Address that. It does Upchain.
Oh yes. So how does this integrate with current ERP systems? Thanks for that. So as I mentioned, obviously dependent on the ERP system that we're talking about, but open REST API is available and is part of the foundation within Upchain. So confirming ERP solution that you're looking to tie into, if they have open API, we've been able to do that with, Odoo, with Microsoft Dynamics, a few other ones. Infor. So if I may, can we circle back and confirm exactly around Infor? I know we have talked to customers around that, and I'm certain there's some information we can provide around that, but the summary of it is available. We do have the ability to connect. It's just a matter of confirming exactly the requirements for that connection.
Yeah, very common question that we get, and it's a very common integration into internal applications.
It's a great question. I have noted that, and I will be sure to circle back with everything specific to Infor. Excellent.
Yeah.
There's maybe one. Welcome. So I don't see any other questions coming in here. We are getting close to the bottom of the hour, so I wanted to thank everybody for making the time today to learn a little bit more about Upchain, a little bit more about SolidCAD, and some of the ways that we've helped customers achieve some of their business initiatives through the evaluation of Upchain. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Tyler, Josh, any last thing to say? Comments?
No,
Yes,
just thank you, everyone.
Sorry, there's one more question. We can make that recording available. I have information. We'll make sure that we share it so that you can share it with respective team members.
No, I'm good with any comments, Kyle. I just want to thank everyone for their time, and if you do have any questions, we're available to answer those.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody. And with that, we're going to stop today's presentation. Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.